Good morning, Generations fam. I hope this morning finds you spectacular. It is 5:39. I'm a few minutes late. Thursday, February 19th. Catch the Vision Part 2. Catch the Vision Part 2. Good morning to the 5:30 crew. I apologize, I missed you yesterday. Miss Lisa, I'm thinking about you today. I got your message. Man, I'm sorry I missed you yesterday. My day just isn't the same unless I'm with you guys in the morning. Hey, we've been talking about, yesterday we talked about Catch the Vision. Catch the Vision. We discussed Genesis chapter 37 verses 3 through 28. Discussing Joseph. Poor Joseph, huh? Joseph's young. He's a little immature, telling everybody his dreams. And yesterday we left off discussing how, the protagonist of this story is Joseph, but we have other characters, and they give us an example of what not to do and how not to act and how not to treat people. I hope that goes without saying when it comes to the brothers saying, "Here comes the dreamer." They said, "Come on, let's kill him and throw him into one of these cisterns. We can tell our father a wild animal has eaten him. Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." And at the end of yesterday, we discussed how we didn't want to be like the brothers. In this year of growth, we've got marriages being restored. We have, I believe that we're going to have physical healing, spiritual healing, emotional healing, healing from trauma, healing from loss. But there's something interesting that happens when that occurs. Mostly, I think we are thrilled that it happened. However, there's part of us, if we're dealing with our own loss, if we're dealing with our own struggle, if we're dealing with our own pain, to watch other people be healed and grow closer to the Lord, man, you might find yourself feeling a little jealous or resentful. But what we learn from Joseph and his brothers, especially in the early parts of his story, we want to be careful about our dreams, and we want to be careful who we tell them to. We want to make sure that there's somebody in our life, and we discussed this yesterday, that God places, most of the time, God places at least one person in your life that you can talk about these dreams with, and they won't crush your dreams. But man, we don't want to be dream crushers. And we don't want to be ones that are resentful or jealous of somebody who is experiencing some type of a growth. Some type of a growth? That sounded like a medical condition. That's terrifying. Pray for that person. For sure. So that's where we wrapped up yesterday. So now we're going to pick up at Genesis 37:28. So when the Ishmaelite traders came by, Joseph's brothers pulled him out of the cistern and sold him to them for 20 pieces of silver, and the traders took him to Egypt. I was not today years old, but last week years old when I realized that Joseph was a human trafficking victim. Not much changes, does it? Egypt represents a world system, power, idols, control. It is a place where you can survive while losing your identity if you are not anchored in God. It is a place where you can survive while losing your identity if you are not anchored in God. It is a place where you can survive. Oh gosh, that was myself. I don't need to hear that. Genesis 39:1. When Joseph was taken to Egypt by the Ishmaelite traders, he was purchased by Potiphar, an Egyptian officer. Potiphar was captain of the guard for Pharaoh. the king of Egypt. The Lord was with Joseph, so he succeeded in everything he did and served in the home of his Egyptian master. Potiphar noticed this and realized that the Lord was with Joseph, giving him success in everything he did. Listen, the dream didn't disappear in the pit. Joseph may have thought it had disappeared, but it didn't. The dream went into training, and that training was under a man named Potiphar. God's vision is not proven by your platform. It's so true. God's vision is not proven by your platform. It is proven by your faithfulness when you have no platform. Genesis 39:4. This pleased Potiphar, so soon he made Joseph his personal attendant. He put him in charge of his entire household and everything he owned. Now this is where the plot kind of takes a little bit of a twist. Potiphar's wife approaches Joseph, and Joseph runs away, but in the process of that, he leaves his coat behind. When confronted about this, he states, "How could I do such a wicked thing? It would be a great sin against God." So he took Joseph. Turns out he didn't believe him, and his wife lied about it. So he took Joseph and threw him into the prison where the king's prisoners were held, and there he remained. But the Lord was with Joseph in prison and showed him his faithful love. And the Lord made Joseph a favorite with the prison warden. Are you noticing something in Joseph's life here? He was his father's favorite. He was Potiphar's favorite. He was the warden's favorite. There's a lot of favor on Joseph's life. Faithfulness is not what you do when life is easy. Faithfulness is what you do when the dream feels delayed. Genesis 40 verse 8, not 48. And they said, "We both had dreams last night, but no one can tell us what they mean. Interpreting dreams is God's business." Joseph replied, "Go ahead and tell me your dreams." Joseph is still operating in his calling while stuck in prison. In fact, some might say that he was refining and honing his skills. Prison isn't the end. Faithfulness is not what you do when life is easy. Faithfulness is what you do when the dream feels delayed. Genesis 48. Interpreting dreams is God's business. Go ahead and tell me your dreams. Joseph is still operating his calling while stuck in prison. That is not the end. Genesis 40:23. Pharaoh's chief cupbearer, however, forgot all about Joseph, never giving him another thought. Has life ever done that to you? You thought it was your turn. It was your turn. You're ready to get out of prison. You're ready to fulfill your calling. You stayed faithful, and yet you still got passed over. You served with excellence, and you still got ignored. Joseph didn't let bitterness cancel his faithfulness. Now, remember we talked about yesterday, Joseph was a wee little lad. He was a little fella. He was not quite matured. He's making some mistakes in the way that he talks, but that's currently getting refined. He's getting that old man wisdom, that life experience. You stayed faithful and you still got passed over. You served with excellence and you still got ignored. But Joseph didn't let bitterness cancel his faithfulness. Being forgotten by people does not mean that you are forgotten by God. God is not waiting on people to remember you. God is waiting on the right moment to reveal you. So true. Genesis 41:14. So Pharaoh sent for Joseph at once, and he was quickly brought from the prison. One day. Some of you are in a season you don't realize you're about to walk out of. God specializes in the suddenly. And I really want to encourage you today. God specializes in the suddenly, but it's not in our time. It's not on our terms. And he does specialize in suddenly, the sudden reveal of the gifts and characteristics that you have been working on for who knows how long. If you're sitting in that wait, that time is coming. That time is coming. Genesis 41, 39 to 41. Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, since God has revealed the meaning of the dreams to you, clearly no one else is intelligent or wise as you are. Let's pause there. Is that what Joseph has been known for thus far? Intelligence and wisdom? Shall I go back just a few pages? And poor Joseph is over here telling the world, well, his world, his brothers, that they're going to bow low before him. And then he doubled down on it, had another dream, another vision. He tells his dad, yeah, look, sun, moon, and stars were all bowing low to me. But here's the leader of a nation seeing something in Joseph, something that we couldn't see earlier. Here is the leader of a nation seeing something in Joseph. Clearly, no one else is as intelligent or wise as you are. What a dramatic change. What a dramatic change from the Joseph of, hey, I got a dream and I just got to tell everybody about it, to clearly no one else is as intelligent or wise as you are. That was some hard fought intelligence. That was some well stewarded wisdom. He continues, you will be in charge of my court, and all my people will take orders from you. Only I, sitting on my throne, will have a rank higher than yours. Pharaoh said to Joseph, I hereby put you in charge of the entire land of Egypt. Vision is not proven by what you can do. Vision is proven by who you have become. And I just want to encourage you this morning. You may not even be aware of who you've become. That's a season of growth. That's a season of growth. You may not even be aware of who you have become. After this year, you might actually look quite unrecognizable to the former self. Vision is proven by who you have become, but that awareness doesn't really come until it's come to fruition. So in this year of growth, as we are growing, as we are in the process of growing, number one, yesterday we discussed, let's not be jealous. Let's not be resentful of healing and growth in other people. Listen, a rising tide lifts all boats. A rising tide lifts all boats. And if the tide is rising in Generations Church, hear me, if the tide is rising at Generations Church, it's a benefit to all. Even if you don't see the immediate growth that you were hoping to see, maybe you're not going to be growing in an area that you really thought was going to be coming, because honestly, the Holy Spirit waits for permission, but once that permission's granted, His ways are higher than ours. And He knows better. He is our creator. He is our manufacturer. He understands the way that He wants us to grow so that we don't topple over and we don't outgrow our root system. And that root system is in the quiet time, in the dark, where nobody else is around. So if we want a greater stem, if we want a bigger blossom, if we want to produce more fruit, our root system has to be able to support it. And that's what occurs in the quiet, in the dark, when nobody else is around, when it's just you and God. Vision is proven by who you have become. But be careful, in a year of growth, you may not be aware. Now, I'll remind you, hopefully you can remember back to when you were growing physically, possibly in your teenage years. I know I remember when I was in the growing process. Good morning, Phil. Good morning. God bless you, bro. Have an amazing day. Vision is proven by who you have become, but be careful. In a year of growth, you may be unaware. Now think back to when you were younger, or perhaps maybe you have kids in their teenage years. I know I do. My youngest, he's a little mini me, and I think he's going to be bigger than me. I do. So I'm being really nice to him now. No, I'm just kidding. All my kids are amazing. They're so much fun. But he goes through growing pains. And not only does he go through growing pains, but I remember when I was a child, when I was his age, I started spilling everything. And I started tripping on everything. My spatial awareness wasn't what it used to be because I was growing. And then I was growing so fast, our growth occurs, and we start spilling stuff and tripping over things and hitting our heads because we're not accustomed to our stride length being altered and our arms being longer, and it's a wild season of life. If you don't remember, that's probably okay, because it's really awkward and it's embarrassing. Golly, I felt like I couldn't walk around anywhere without spilling something or dropping something or tripping over something. And I'm like, yeah, what's going on? Well, what was going on? I was growing at a rapid rate. And regardless of the rate to which you grow, during the process of growth, it's awkward. It's awkward. But listen, we understand that it's awkward. We do. We do. It's awkward and it's worth it. And we're here for it. Genesis 45, 1 through 3. This is when Joseph's brothers, see, Egypt had come into a time of famine. But Joseph was granted a gift from God that they were supposed to prepare for it, and they did. And now we find Joseph's brothers in the season of famine coming to the land of Egypt to get food. Joseph could stand it no longer. There were many people in the room, and he said to his attendants, "Out, all of you." So he was alone with his brothers when he told them who he was. Then he broke down and wept. He wept so loudly the Egyptians could hear him, and word of it quickly carried to Pharaoh's palace, not place. "I am Joseph," he said to his brothers. "Is my father still alive?" But his brothers were speechless. They were stunned to realize that Joseph was standing there in front of all of them. Here's where that passionate rant yesterday comes into play. When I beseeched you, I beseeched. Don't be the brothers. Don't be the brothers. Don't be Joseph's brothers who heard the dream and shot it down and crushed it in a group, in a mob mentality. The brothers all became resentful, and they wanted to crush his dreams, and they wanted to crush him, and they submitted him into human trafficking because they were jealous at first, and then they were resentful. The Lord has a way of bringing people around in those situations. Now, in this year of growth, in this year of growth, we don't want to take on the role of Joseph's brothers. I also tied in Jesus' parable of the prodigal son, the older brother who was resentful of the treatment of his younger brother upon his return. This stuff comes around. And we have to take the long view. We have to take the long view at life and church. And in this season of growth, I don't ever want somebody walking across the threshold of the church, of somebody who was cast out, of somebody who was socially rejected. We got to have patience and we got to have grace in the season of growth, because growth is wonderful. It's so exciting. Growing in the Lord, growing in the church, growing in the Word. It's so exciting. And in that excitement, sometimes we can share a little bit of our immature side. And in this year of growth, let's have patience for that. Let's have patience for the new believer who's excited in the Lord, who might be getting some things wrong, but also might be getting some things right, who primarily need encouragement. So as we welcome the least, last, and lost through our doors, and we're experiencing a season of growth, man, let's do ourselves a favor. Let's stay away from comparison. Let's stay away from comparison. If somebody else appears to be growing at a rate faster than we are, man, just understand that growth comes at a cost. It's hard work. It's soul care. It's the softening of the heart. And we just got to be patient and have grace and allow these folks to grow. And by allowing them to grow, our own maturity is blossoming and we're growing ourselves. Just like people had patience with us, or maybe you have, maybe you were mistreated in a season of growth. Let's not perpetuate that cycle. Let's break that chain now. Let's make sure that does not continue into the spiritual generation of the future. We have a holy responsibility to steward growth well. A holy responsibility to steward growth well. That's going to require patience, grace, understanding, wisdom. And it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Church family, we love you so much. We think about you. We pray about you. We are so encouraged by your growth. I'm so grateful to be with you this morning. I'm going to go hang out with some really good fellas. Good morning, Dez. Great to see you as well. Man, my brother Phil Nichols up at Adam early at the dirty 5:30. Yes, sir. Des Martindale getting her day off to a great start. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Don't forget to join us at noon in person. I might even try to pop up online at noon to begin our, last night was the first day of prayer. And then from here on forward, we're going to be rocking and rolling at noon. So I hope to see you either there or online. We love you. Be safe. Be healthy. Thank Jesus for everything that he has done. And we'll see you later. When you step into this space to hear what you have to say, heart and hand.